You're listening to Dental Student Vibes, where it's all about the good vibes. Well, boys, we just got back from the gym. How you guys been?
Been good. It's been a little bit of a journey going through first year, going through past few weeks.
That's right. You hear Anthony Wallace right now. I'm also here with George Jarakis, Matt Havis, and I'm Seth Kalish. So yeah, we're going to talk to you guys about our first year. I guess we've been in our second year for 1 month now? 2 months? 1 month.
No, 2. We started in May, end of May.
We started at the end of May?
Yeah, dude. We came back Memorial Day. End of May.
Oh, okay.
We've been doing this for 2 months. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we want to thank you guys for listening, as always. You guys give us so much support, and we couldn't do all of this without you. So first, we're going to start with a little update on how everything's been. Right now, we're taking 24 credits, 29 credits, something like that.
Yeah.
Too many.
So let's name all those classes right now. We got Fixed Prost. Mm-hmm. That's like Crown and Bridge. We're taking
Perio
2. We're taking
Ortho,
Oral surgery.
removable partial dentures.
Yep. RPD. And then we got our didactic PBL again, came back. We all love that.
Right. And then you already said RPD.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's it. I think it's about 6 classes
HBC.
right now. Oh, yeah, we got hygiene too.
Oh, hygiene.
Yeah.
Doesn't really count.
What do you mean? Hygiene's so important.
That's cleaning teeth.
Cleaning teeth.
That's making smiles brighter.
That's right. Let's see what else has been going on in the lives of the Vibe Tribe. Well, another exciting thing, Anthony broke his foot.
I'm glad you had to put that on the podcast. Yeah, I broke my foot and my ankle.
Tell them how you did it.
About 3 weeks ago. I originally messed it up like 2 months ago playing football, but then never really let it heal 100%. Did a backflip at the beach, landed, it snapped under me my ankle. Pretty painful. I'm 1 week post-op though, so I'm just getting better each day and recovering. So I've been struggling with that, crushing around school. Fell once or twice,
Yeah.
Hanging in there.
Yeah. What was the name of the surgery for any of our orthopedic fans?
Well, on my ankle, it was a fracture of the distal fibula. I don't know the exact name of the procedure.
Was it the Lisbon? Is it Lisbon? Or?
That's on the foot. On the foot, it was a Lisfranc fracture,
Lisfranc.
which is a super rare fracture, supposedly
But super intense. The doctor told me yesterday, actually, when we had to get on my
new splint.
A new splint and an x-ray because he decided to eat crap. That's how he got out of perio. But so he was saying that. Did he explain to you how the surgery went and why it was so important that they surgically fixed it?
More or less, but you can dive into detail. But before you do, I just want to say, just for my own safety, it was pouring like it never pours in the morning, and I was walking to class, and as soon as I got off the carpet, I didn't stand a chance against that floor. Both crutches went out underneath me, landed full force on my broken foot. But Doc said everything was good. No, nothing was moved, so I'm okay. But go ahead, Matt. Explain the surgery.
So the way he explained it to me was you have your foot and then you have your big toe. The big toe is its independent moving, like your brain controls that independently than the other 4 toes. And then there's this one part that communicates between the big toe and then the other 4. That's how you maintain balance and everything. And he broke the portion right there that allows communication. So it was imperative that they fix it or his balance would be off, and then full function of his actual foot would have been compromised for like the rest of his life if he didn't have it fixed surgically. So
all right, so that's a brief update from Orthopedic Student Vibes.
That's our other podcast. Follow that.
yeah, buddy. So let's talk about this past year. Mm-hmm. And don't mind that beeping in the background. That's not a bomb that's gonna go off. Don't worry about us.
It's dishwasher.
Yep. Right. So we got the new incoming class. I think they started July 5th or 10th or something like that.
Yeah, right around that time.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so we just we see them coming in here, and it's kind of like deja vu. They're going through all the same experiences we went through at the very beginning, meeting new people, all that sort of thing, kind of figuring out, what you have in common with certain people and who likes what, and you're just meeting a ton of new people.
It's kind of funny watching them go through it because we went through the same thing last year, worrying about your first anatomy quiz and dental anatomy, carving teeth. But like it's, we look back on it now and it's not even a big deal. But they'll get through it. So shout out to our littles if they're listening.
Yep.
Garrett, Ian for George,
Kyle
for Seth,
Alec,
and Max for Matt. Sorry.
Yeah. A couple cool guys. They'll be on here at some point. So what do you think is something that we could tell we at our school we have a big brother, little brother sort of thing for the D1s and the D2s, first year, second year. And so what is something looking back that you would recommend to the incoming class? It's something that you made a mistake about, something that you would change, and you would tell them, hey, look out for this, do this, and it'll help out your experience.
For me, it would be not to stress out as much as I did, because when you come into it, you don't want to be that kid who couldn't handle it, and you don't want to be the one who fails his classes, and it adds unnecessary pressure to you sometimes mentally. So I think you need to grind and put all the work in, but don't feel like you're not going to be able to handle it, because you will, and you'll adjust. It's different than college or a master's, but you'll be fine, and it gets harder. So once
Right.
you get used to things.
Right. And honestly, I mean, I know we haven't taken any exams so far this fall, but it seems like, I don't know, if we could do last fall, we could do this fall, And this is supposed to be our hardest year, or our hardest semester. So, and plus, we got to take boards.
Sometime in the spring.
Yeah, like February. So we've started that discussion. How about you, George? What is something that you wish you could change about last year?
I wouldn't necessarily change anything, but if I were to tell someone in the incoming class, I'd say have a plan and stick to it. So, get a planner, something easy.
There you go.
Plan out your week, plan out your workouts, plan everything, and try and stick to it, because when you have structure to what you're doing, then you tend to do better with your classes and whatnot.
Right. How about you, Matt?
I would just say, honestly, believe that you belong here. Because when I came in here, I was intimidated that, oh wow, we got all these smart people and I better work hard. And then I did that, but then I sacrificed other things. I stopped going to the gym for a while. And I had to prove to myself that I belonged here and that admissions wasn't enough. So I would study, but then I would study incorrectly because I was more caught up with, let me study to prove I belong here rather than study to learn the material. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing, but that's what I did. And it was a personal vendetta to prove that I belong. And I did well the first semester, but I would say to somebody, learn the material and do it because you love it, not because you think you need to prove it anything, because you don't. Getting in was the hardest part. Now it's just time to learn and have fun doing it.
Right. You guys all brought up really good points. So what would I change?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like the thing that I usually get upset about is I feel like I haven't done enough. And I feel like I could have done more, but I know I did as much as I could. I tried to get involved as much as I could last semester.
What he's saying is he wishes he did legs more.
Yes, all right. That's probably the biggest thing. I wish I did legs more.
Can't argue that. You can never do too many legs.
I'm trying to get the squat to 400, but
I'll get mine back
One
up
day.
there shortly. I did legs for the first time today at the gym.
yeah. Oh, wait, Anthony actually did leg
Well-
the other leg is in a cast right now.
I was doing on quad extensions on the left leg 100 pounds, and on the right leg I did 10 pounds just to get a little blood flow in there.
Wait, you did it with that leg?
I've raised the bar as high up as I could, and I literally just did 10 pounds. Didn't even
Oh
feel
my
it.
god.
Any pain?
No, nothing, because the cast is so heavy.
He thinks he's Forrest Gump running with the
With the braces.
with the
Yeah.
braces on his legs.
I'm itching to get back to it.
Yeah. All right. So what was your favorite class last? And Yeah, what was your favorite class? Your favorite thing that you did? And I want to hear one SimLab, like hand skills favorite experience and favorite didactic classroom experience.
It's a tough one. Either you want to go first? I need a minute.
Yeah, I can do that. I already have mine situated. So I would say my favorite thing, looking back on it now, I hated it when we started it, but in dental anatomy, when we waxed teeth, that was super, super high yield, and I took that for granted. I was like, we're never going to do this. But then after shadowing a very successful dentist in the area and seeing how well you need to wax teeth in terms of implants and stuff like that with the protocol he does, waxing teeth was super, super valuable. And the classes above us did not do that. So they're at a disadvantage. And I mean, I think it's a very good skill set. That was, looking back on it, probably my favorite now. But my favorite didactic would be, when did D2 years start? Was that endo or not?
Yeah. No. I don't know.
So endo wasn't in D1 year.
Yeah, no, count it.
All right, well, in endo, I really like learning all the trauma and everything like that because that was so just applicable because you'll see that in practice. Hopefully not as much because you don't want people getting hurt and stuff, but I mean, that was really cool seeing like the different things, how to fix it, the treatments for it. I thought that was very interesting and high yield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you bring up an excellent point. I totally agree. Like, remember the very beginning, we're just like, what are we doing? Waxing these teeth and just kind of making a mess, honestly. Blue wax everywhere. But after seeing like the applications and you actually, wax up teeth for the more complicated procedures, whether it's like doing veneers or like adjusting occlusion or anything like that, like Matt said, doing implants, it makes a big difference. So what was yours, George?
What was my favorite class?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say perio. Listen, it was my favorite class in terms of interest, but it was my least favorite class in terms of test. Because our professor, you need to know everything on the PowerPoints. Like, you gotta read the tiny handwriting at the bottom where it's like 57% of this study, blah, blah, blah. You need to know the people in the study. You need to know, like...
Right, yeah.
Overkill.
Yeah, you need to know everything, but I think it was very interesting. And then, what was the other question? SimLab activity.
Yeah.
I think learning indirect vision was a struggle for me, but that was really vital to our learning.
Right.
And I remember the first exercise we had was like, we had a little, like a block thing where we practice our indirect vision.
Oh yeah, what was that called? It was called
I can't remember.
We might have done it with a pencil, actually. I remember we did something like that, and we used our mirror.
It was like numbers 1 to 8, and
you had to like connect the dots.
Right.
And looking back at it now, it helped a ton. But I remember my first drawing was like absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
I hit everything except the dots.
But you know what the funny thing was? She was like, do each one like 8 seconds. And it takes me 8 seconds just to find the number with the indirect vision.
It took me 2 hours.
So I'm like looking for like, come on.
Yeah.
And she wants the thing drawn. But no, that was very, very good quality.
Right. Anthony?
In terms of didactic, I know we're taking it right now, but I really like what we're learning in oral surgery about like just like clinical stuff, like in-house, like with emergencies.
Because that's so like high yield.
It's so cool just to know like what to do when people. Maybe it's just because like I was a lifeguard and I always like learning protocols, but I like learning the protocol stuff and just learning the actual like practice management side of it instead of just learning about like theory and application. Like it's different. But for D1, I really enjoyed operative, not only like the lecture portion, but SimLab. I think what George said is probably the most applicable and important thing was the indirect vision, but just doing preps and just learning that I could handle having a drill in my hand and it go 40,000 RPM. And I know like real dentists go way higher than that practice. They'll go 100,000 or something crazy like that. Jeez. Some of the guys in SimLab say they used to work at like 200,000 RPM. I don't know, I forget who said it, but yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I don't have to go that fast.
That's what they do. But just to be able to like know that you have that steady hand and do a class 2 and drop the box. When I got good at dropping the box for class 2 and best feeling I've had probably D1 year.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely fun stuff. And you know, doing because we just had Crown and Bridge, right? So we did a gold onlay. We did the prep for it, and we did like a MOD prep. That's how we started. So we had to drop the box on mesial and distal, and we haven't done that in like three months because we
A
had
little
like
rusty.
endo, and it's kind of, you know, it kind of makes you think like, okay, I got to really start keeping up with this. But like we knew what to do, whereas the very first time we picked up the drill, we couldn't even draw a square or like drill a square shape on this, whatever that practice block was.
I think this class, fixed process that we're taking, where we're learning to do 360 of the tube, is going to make our hand skills even better.
Yeah,
The shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Those interproximals and the shoulders I'm struggling with right now, but
Right.
figure it out.
Yeah,
we
we'll
need to
figure
do
it
it
out.
quicker too, because before we do a class 2 and it take like
Yeah.
2-3 hour class sessions, and now we're expected to do it in 15 minutes and then move on with the preparation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about efficiency, dentistry. That's what it's all about.
So what's something that you guys are looking forward to this next year?
I'm looking forward, as crazy as it sounds, I'm looking forward to taking boards.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we don't get any days off until, well, Thanksgiving, then Christmas. We get a nice
But dude,
2
Thanksgiving,
weeks.
we're probably going to have to study.
Exactly. So it's not even really a break. It's just like a study week.
Yeah.
But then you get a nice 2 weeks off for Christmas.
Hey, well, you got to study for boards over Christmas.
Okay, but
No, you don't.
okay.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to boards because it's 2 years of, okay, like you've been through PBL, you've been through all these classes learning about dentistry. Can you like actually apply it and pass like this test? And if you can, it's kind of one of the biggest hurdles you will take in dental school is passing your boards.
Right. I mean, it would be such a good feeling to, you know, like study for this big test and then do really well, you know, and achieve your goal.
Do you guys feel more confident taking the boards or taking the ADEX?
Probably ADEX because it's a root canal and it's going to be a 3 to 5 bridge, which I don't know how to do yet, but we'll see how hard it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly,
I like my hand skills more than I like my ability to take exams personally.
I have more faith in my hand skill as well.
Yeah,
I think that we're just going to have to probably put more hours in studying for part 1 boards rather than 8X, but you never
I
know.
think so. What about you, George? What do you think about that?
I'd probably prefer the boards over the ADEX. Just me personally.
Why is that?
I gotta work on my hand skills.
Imagine,
We already know that.
imagine if they made dentures part of the boards.
Don't even start with me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, okay. All right. So, first year, what were some of the clubs that you guys were involved in, Anthony?
It was ASDA, AEGD.
AEGD?
Oh no, AGD.
AGD?
AGD's a residency
That's
program.
disrespectful. That was my favorite. I'm sorry. That was my favorite.
AGD was cool. We had a great guy that came in often. All the clubs also got food for us after, so it was always free meals.
Oh, yeah,
which was
buddy.
great.
I went to every single club meeting because it was a free dinner.
Of course.
I couldn't even tell you what the club was about. I would study in the back, but you eat right afterwards.
Now we got Operative Club.
Yeah.
You just kind of find what you like.
Right. How about you, George?
I was in ASDA and Operative Club. I'm
What-
a simple man.
What were like some of the meetings? What was like your favorite meeting that you went to? Like, do you remember what they talked about?
Yes, I do actually. It still stands out to me. It was the lecture from AGD, Matt, right?
Yes, sir.
Dr.
AGD.
Menendez. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Menendez, great guy, really smart.
He's an MAGD.
He's an
master.
MAGD, yes.
With 4 LLSRs. Let that sink
We
in.
could talk about him for a few minutes, but we're not gonna do that right now. But great guy. He talked about the CBCT scan. Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
it was one of
that
the
was, like,
first ones
first
we
ones.
had, and that still sticks in my head because I feel like that machine is so pivotal to diagnose properly. And like, what do we always learn
Right.
about? That you need to have like a proper treatment plan, and you cannot
Right.
misdiagnose. And I think
Right.
learning how to use one of those and learning how it can just like change the game of dentistry, I thought it was almost like cheating. It was like the coolest thing I saw probably in any of the club meetings.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. How about you, George? What was your favorite meeting that stood out?
Ask Matt.
Matt?
Well, prior to that, we also did the business club, which was very high yield, and that's where we learned a lot of information in terms of what to do outside of the dentistry portion of it, how to run your business, and all things related to that, insurance, stuff like that, which was super super good to know because they don't teach a lot of that in dental school. But my favorite meeting was the last day of fall semester. We had an AGD meeting, and there was like 4 people that showed up, and then the club president, and then Dr. Mendez showed up and did like an hour and a half worth of just cases, and we just turned down the lights. We had finished the final like 3 hours before, and we just sat there and just talked dentistry, and I'm talking about like really really in-depth cases. And he picked our brains because it was such a small intimate group where every single person had to answer what you thought and why you thought that, and then he explained if you're on the right track. And he never like criticizes you. He just tries to pick your brain to get you to think creatively. And that right there, I learned so much in that hour and a half. And
right.
I'll never forget that point right there. That's what made me love AGD so much. And all the aspects of like a full treatment plan.
Right. Shout out Dr. Menendez. But I mean, that's really why getting involved in stuff outside of school, like, we play kickball and play volleyball and all the other stuff, but like also just doing the extracurriculars for school is so important because like Matt said, he learns so much stuff rather than just this is the oxygen inhibited layer of the composite, okay. But so I think that getting involved in all these extra clubs, very important for our growth, our development. How about your study habits? How did those change from the very beginning to the very end?
It kind of, Matt touched on it earlier, where he said like the way he was studying was wrong when he first started, and I feel like I started to study. I stopped cramming pretty early on, but I definitely stopped cramming. But I also started to learn that if I read things 4 times in a row, like I feel like I don't retain it as well. Whereas if I just go through it a little more thoroughly and I try to use different methods each time that I study, as opposed to just reading the same notes over and over, and I'm still learning, and I'm excited to take the first set of exams in a few weeks because I want to see how much I've grown in my studying habits, because I did great on our finals for summer semester.
Mm-hmm.
I got all A's on everything.
Right.
So these are like the real exams I can prove if I can actually find a method that's working for me. But I think it's almost just like not overdoing it, but still doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's about doing it the right way. And it's not about how many hours you put in. Mm-hmm. It's about how much you actually get accomplished during those hours. Because you could do the same thing in 1 hour as 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
But how about you, George?
I think the most important thing is staying consistent with your study schedule. So I wouldn't recommend cramming. I know it always happens. I still cram sometimes too. But you need to try and do like 2-3 hours, 4 hours studying per day. For example, right now we have PBL. I'm trying to do 1 chapter per day. It's nothing crazy. And then review each PowerPoint from the morning. So it's not much, but when you keep studying every single day, your brain gets accustomed to,
right.
And
dude, I mean, one of the things that you started doing that I really, really like is, like, tomorrow we have oral surgery and ortho. And you're like, I have to get my review notes done for oral surgery and ortho after class. So, like, we're going to go to the lecture, and then after that, we're going to get everything typed up and all the notes typed up and whatever, and just be organized. I think that's a really good habit to have, so that you're always on top and you don't have to, like, go back. I mean, obviously you got to go back and review.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys bring up some good points. I think one of the things that has helped me the most is we started doing group study sessions, and it took a little while because you kind of got to figure out who's going to be like the leader. It's almost like a PBL group, like who's going to lead them and all that sort of thing. But I think just talking it over with other people, they might bring up some things that you didn't read, and they thought it was important that you might have missed, you might have not heard during the lecture. But that, I think it's really important to discuss with your peers and go over those things. And then also, write a bunch of charts on the board. So like for endo, all the diagnoses, we would write those all on the board and on the whiteboard, and that would be very, very helpful. And you kind of share mnemonics and all those study materials with each other. So how about you, Matthew?
I would say honestly, just every day do something. I know we already touched upon that, but that's my new thing. Is before I would study like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days out from an exam and then give it my all. But now we can't do that because we have 3 exams in 1 week. We have one Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. So you can't just do 4 or 5 days for each one. So I do everything I study now is done the day of. So we have tomorrow we'll have oral surgery. Right after oral surgery, I'm gonna hit up like Starbucks or Panera or whatever, get the lecture done, go through it slowly one time, and then go back and review something prior from like earlier this week or last week. And that's how I keep up with it. And the whole PBL thing, I may be slacking with that right now, but you got to just do like George said, a chapter every day, and then it's doable. Or 2 short chapters. You know, if you have like 5 and 7 pages, do it for 12 pages, and then move on to something else. This is like the time in our semester where we're being tested professionally and like academically. So you really want to prove to yourself that you can do this. Because if this is the hardest semester and you can get through this, you know, it's a downhill from here.
Yes, sir.
And always talk it out, draw it out. You don't realize how much you learn just by trying to teach someone else the same material.
Right.
Absolutely.
I like it when we put the PowerPoints on the TV, and I'm like, George, your turn. You're leading this lecture. It's great. It's good stuff. But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed our review of our first year of dental school. You guys have any closing comments?
Just keep grinding. We'll be in touch. If you guys have any questions about D1 year, please be sure to hit us up on our Instagram. We answer questions quickly. We have a great tech guy, George.
We'll be back next year to give a little review about our D2 year.
But yeah, just keep listening, and we'll be able to do this as much as possible. We will be busy, but we'll try to make sure that we give you guys as much knowledge as possible, and we'll keep you along with our journey.
That is right. And we have some exciting things coming up too. We've got a guy who does 3D printing. So he's coming in to present to our school. So we're going to discuss that. What other things? Oh, we had a guy that did icon treatment.
Mm-hmm.
We had somebody speak about veneers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have somebody come in and speak about multi-practice ownership, about partnerships and practices. Got a lot of cool stuff planned. So thank you guys for listening. Thanks for the support. And until next time, keep listening to Dental Student Vibes.